Welcome back to our Beatrice YouTube channel. In today's class, we'll be learning how to make this beautiful overlap. It's like a bubu dress. As you can see, it is cut in form of a kimono in which the sleeve is cut together with the main bodies, and it has this beautiful overlap twist in front. It's a very simple tutorial and it's beginner friendly. If this is something you like to learn, kindly stay tuned to the end of this tutorial. Thank you. Okay, so this pattern is going to be quite big, so I'm going to explain it with us with this paper. Okay, it's going to be in a miniature size from a smaller size so that it can take what the camera can. It's good, the camera can take everything so that we are going to see everything. Then when I finish drafting on the paper, I'll move to the fabric to show us how I have cut this. Okay, so the first thing you need to know, the measurement that you're going to use to fold your fabric. I'm going to draft the back first. To fold my fabric, you can see I folded the fabric into two like this, and the measurement you're going to need is your center back to where you want the sleeve to be, or you can just take your shoulder measurement. The shoulder I'm working with is 7 inches, so like I said, this is a smaller paper, so I'm just going to leave my 7 inches here. Okay, so now it's now left to you to determine the sleeve that you want, where you want your sleeve to stop. So for me, I want it to just be a little beyond my elbow. Okay, so I can leave my sleeve at 14 inches. So from where my shoulder measurement stops, you're going to measure your 14 inches, and I'm going to assume that that stops. So if you add everything together, 7 plus 14 is going to give us 21 inches with seam allowance. Okay, so now after doing that, the next thing now is to determine your neckline. So I'm going to be working with a neckline of 3 inches width by 1 inch depth for the back. Okay, so this is going to be the neckline for the back, and then for my shoulder slope here, I'm going to go down by 1.5 inches, and then I'm going to connect that to my neck point. Okay, so after that, you're going to take the measurement of your bicep, or wherever it is you want to place this. You take it really loosely, or you can just measure 10 to 12 inches. So if you measure, let's say I'm measuring like 11 inches for my sleeve opening. Okay, it's a kimono, so for my sleeve opening I'm working with 11 to 12 inches, and then from here I'm going to measure that. So this is where the 11 inches stops. So all of this is going to be where the hem comes from. Okay, so on that point now, you can just make like a straight line so that we can shape this. Okay, so the measurement that I'm going to be working with for this is going to be the fullest measurement, which in this case is the hip. Remember, this is a gown, and the length that I'm working with, where I want this to stop, is around 40 inches. So you can decide to go beyond that or more than that. So now from my shoulder to my floor length to the full length of this is going to be 40 inches for me. So now the measurement that I'm going to use to shape this is going to be my hip divided by 4. Then you're going to add an allowance of 3 to 5 inches depending on what you want. The hip I'm working with is 40, divided by 4 is going to be 10. So I'm going to be adding like 4 inches to that, and that's going to leave me with 14 inches. So now from here I'm going to measure 14 inches. So I'm going to assume that my 14 inches stops here. Okay, so the same 14 inches, I'll measure it on the hem. Okay, I'll measure it on my hem also, and then I'm going to make it into a straight line. So we are just drafting like a small kimono. So this is the sleeve. So for the sleeve to blend well, you can just measure like 1 inch out towards the jaw, or just use your free hand to just draw a nice curve so that they can connect. But remember, we cannot leave it this sharp. So after doing this now, you're done with your back. I'm not going to cut it and use this to cut the front. Okay, so now I've cut it out. This is what the back looks like. Now you can see that the sleeve is cut together. So for my front, I'm going to take a fresh paper. So this time around, you're going to add allowance. It's going to be cut. It's going to be cut in form of an overlap. Okay, like you're cutting your regular wrap, like a wrap dress. Okay, so for a wrap dress, remember we used to have like overlap extension. So depending on what you want, but whatever overlap extension that you're going to add, it should be enough to go around the neckline. You will still understand this later. So for my overlap extension, I'm just going to add like 30 inches. Okay, so I'm going to assume that from, remember we are working with miniature measurements, so I'm just going to assume from here to be my 30 inches. So from the center front here is going to be my 30 inches, and then I'm going to mark that and draw out a straight line. Okay, so this is going to be my 30 inches. So now after placing that, I'm just going to simply place my back on it, because we are going to use the back to cut out the front. So the only difference we're going to make in the front is that the front neckline is going to be different. So now for the overlap, I'm just going to divide what I have here by 2. So remember, my length is 40 inches, so dividing 40 inches is going to be 220. So now I'm going to measure 20 inches downwards. Okay, and that's going to be the strap for my overlap. Yours can be smaller than this. For my belt, yours can be smaller than this or bigger than this, depending on what you want. So now from here, we are going to be linking that to our neck point. So now on the center front, remember, this is where your center fold is. All of this is just the overlap. You need to determine the depth of your neckline. So for me, I'm working with a neck depth of around 7 inches. So I have 7 inches here, and this is my neck point. That's your neck width of 3 inches. So now I'm going to connect from here to this place where my overlap depth starts, and then from there I'm going to connect to my neckline as well. So please, you will see this better by the time we move to fabric. Remember, these are small measurements. So now from here to here, that is my overlap, and that is going to be 30 inches. I hope you understand that. So now I'm going to cut that out, and then I'm simply going to place this back, and I'll use that to cut the side for my front, just exactly what you have on your back. So now for the back, this is going to be the side for the front as well. Remember, we have cut out the neckline already, and then I'm going to cut out the shoulder slope. So once you cut it out, you're going to open the front, the center front. You're going to open it out like this, and this is what it looks like. So this is going to be the back. When you lay it, this is going to be the back, and you have the front on it like this. Okay, so this is going to be your overlap extension. You can see that it's extending beyond what we have. So this is going to be the other one. So after laying it like this, the next thing to do now is to sew them together on the shoulder and then on the side before we continue. So I'll take it to the fabric now so that we can see how it looks like. So we are now on the fabric. So from here now all the way to that place is my shoulder plus sleeve, which is 7 inches for my shoulder and 14 inches for the sleeve, which is 21 inches. And then the length that I'm working from my shoulder all the way to the hem is 40 inches. That's the total length that I want for my blouse. So here I just measured from here 12 inches after doing my shoulder slope, then I connected it just like I showed us. So this is the back that I laid on the front. So for the front, this is our overlap allowance of 30 inches. You can see how big it is from here to the center front. That's the fold where we place the back. That's 30 inches. And then I connected it like this to my neck depth of 7 inches before connecting it to the back. So let me just open it so that we can see. So you can see that I just slanted it like that before connecting to my neck point. So this is what the full view looks like, just like I explained on the paper. So like I said, for my shoulder slope, to get this measurement I just divided the 40 by 2, and from here to here is 20. But if you don't want yours this wide, you can just go down more and then reconnect it. But I'm okay with this. I'm just going to fold it. So the next thing is for me to open everything out, and then I'll go ahead to join it together on the shoulder as well as the side seam. So I'm gonna have to cut the paper on the fabric as well so that we can see this well, because the actual fabric is very big. So I have sewn it on the shoulder as well as the side seam. As you can see, this is the back. So when you turn it out, this is what it looks like. So you can see the sleeve area here, and then the front, you will see the 30 inches XX. That's the 30 inches overlap allowance that we created. So it's going to extend like this. This is the first one, this is the second one. You can see the extension that we created. So now the first thing you need to do is to hem them all out, because before you do the twist, because it's going to be really difficult to hem after twisting it. So you need to hem it like this, just leaving the center back, because we're going to join it together on the center back. So every other place, the round sleeve area, the hem of the blouse, the all this overlap area, the neckline area. You need to hem all of them neatly before you twist it. So after you have hemmed it neatly, just watch how I'm going to twist this. I have laid my fabric down. The front is on top of the back, and these are my allowances. So now you're going to bring in, okay, you're going to take this side like this, the allowance of this side, you're going to take it to this side, and then the allowance of the left, you take it to the right. Okay, so you can see the twist. You're going to take the extra, that's the excess allowance that you have on the left, you take it to the right, and then the allowance on the right, you take it to the left. So you can see what we have. Right side facing right side is because I'm using this lycra fabric. Actually, if I'm to do this, I'll prefer a silk fabric or a bridal satin, just soft silky fabric like that, but it's going to consume a lot of fabric. I used around 4 to 5 yards for this top alone, so I don't have silk of that volume. That's why I'm working with this lycra fabric. Okay, so if it were to be a silk fabric, you will easily see the right and left side and wrong side, but this is very similar. So just watch what I'm doing. So this is my right side. You can see me placing them on each other. So now the next thing is for you to flip it over like this, and then take it to the sewing machine and sew. So after turning it like that, you take the right to the shoulder of the left to the shoulder of the right, and then you take it like this, and then flip it right side facing right side, and then you sew it here. Okay, so now after sewing it, we're going to move straight to the mannequin for us to continue. Okay, so I've sewn it together. Now you can see, so now we are sewing it on the wrong side, so you can see the seam allowance. So the next thing you're going to do now is to close this up to the right side in such a way that you have it neat on both sides like this. So you're just going to fold it into two like this. Then after folding it, just watch how I'm holding it. I'm going to twist it. See, I folded like that. I'm just going to twist it like this, and then I'm going to hang this on the neckline like this. Okay, so after hanging it on the neckline, we are going to turn to the back of the neck, and then by now you should have notched the midpoint of your neckline. So after notching the midpoint of your neckline, we are going to take the middle, that's where we sew, that we took together like this. We are going to take it together, and then we start to pin it. Okay, so where you have your notch at the back now, you are going to take it together and then pin it inwards like this. So I'm just going to bring it out like this and then pin. That's the excess. You pin it to your center back. So when you pin it, this is what you have. So the next thing now is to pin it all the way to the front. So you can see the neckline. You are going to take your overlap like this, the two of them together. Remember, we folded this into two, and then we keep pinning it towards the front. So just like you did for the center back, you take it like this. This is the two lapel, and then this is the neckline. I'm going to pin it again, and then you pin it to the front. So once you turn it, okay, so you can see me pin it from the back. So you take your neckline, you take your two lapel, and then you pin. So this pin now, you're going to sew it. So you keep pinning it till you take it to the end. So now I'm taking the two together. These are the two lapel that is coming from the back. So just watch it carefully, it's not difficult. So these are the two lapel, and this is my actual front neckline. I'm going to take the three together, and then I'll pin it. So the same thing here. So you can see the way you're pinning it in such a way that by the time you flip the lapel over, it's going to be neat on the external part here. So after pinning it, you go to the second side as well, and you do the same thing from your center back. You pin it inwards like this. So you can see me, this is my lapel. So let me just shift it. Remember, this is our front, our normal front bodies, okay, and this is the lapel that we are twisting. So you are going to sew this front to the lapel. So yeah, I'll take the lapel. Remember, we folded the lapel into two. I'll take it like this, the two of them, and then I'm going to take it together with my front, making three, and then I'm going to pin it to sew. So I'll pin it from the center back all the way, so that by the time I finish pinning it and I flip it over, you can see how neat it is. So I'll pin this now. Okay, so you can see now I've pinned everything together. This is my bodies, the front, and then this is the two lapel that we folded. So you pin complete it, you pin it from the front here all the way to the back and then to the other front. You can see me pinning this now. So now by the time you flip your collar, your excess that you pin twist over like this is going to be neat. So you can see it is neatly finished. By the time you go ahead and sew it now, it's going to be neat. And our 7 inches neckline, you can see here. So now you arrange this well, and this is what it looks like so far. Okay, so this is what it looks like, and this is what the back neckline look like as well. You can see that it is equally neat on the back. So depending on what you want to work with, you can actually sew a skirt to wear underneath this, or you sew maybe a mini gown or a strapless gown or whatever it is that you wear underneath it before you take this blouse and then wear it over it, so that the skirt is just going to show here and on the hem. So I'm just going to wrap the rest of my fabric on it now so that we can see what it looks like. Okay, so this is what the full view of the blouse look like. I just wrapped a fabric around the waist area, just like I said. So you can just make a skirt and wear it under the blouse, or you can just make a strapless or a tube gown that you can wear underneath it before wearing this overlap blouse that we have here. I hope you enjoyed making this beautiful tutorial with me. If you enjoyed it, let us know in the comment section. Like, comment and subscribe to our channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.